Right now, finding our roots, building ourselves up from the rubble, building that foundation that weathers all the storms of life. That's why we're here, guys. Pissed off for excellence. What's up, guys? I got a video blog for you. It's a really good one. You get this question a lot. It comes from Isaac. The subject is basically about uneven abs. How do we get abs that line up nice and straight from north to south, right to left? We see, I mean, for you know, just so you know, professional bodybuilders have won contests with uneven abs. Bruce Lee had uneven abs. A lot of these clothing, underwear campaigns we see billboards of uneven abs. It's commonplace. So don't think you're one of the few. You're one of the many if you have uneven abs. The question that comes up is like, is this a genetic issue, a disorder that we're born with and we can't fix or rectify of any sort? Or is it something we can do? If we do not like the look, can we fix it? Personally, I don't think it's an issue. I think the issue is really, do you have abs showing or not? If they're uneven or not, who gives a shit? You have them showing, which makes you 1 percentile of the population. People would die to have abs, whether they're uneven, corkscrewed, whatever the hell you want to call them. If they have something showing besides a fat fucking gut, they're going to be happy with it. But you guys that have the abs showing, you guys are perfectionists. You guys are hard workers, do diligent, practice the arts of dedication and sacrifice. So yeah, you have abs, but that's not enough for you. You want more, always pushing the barriers. You've done all the work, all the hard work to have them. Now how do we get them straight? Is it possible? Let's get into this question first, and then I'll give you my take on all this, which is much different than anyone else's. You're here, I'm sure. But okay, Isaac goes, hey, I got a quick question on unevenness of my abs. But first I wanted to say I really appreciate you putting up all this up on your website and trying to help the people who want to make a change in their life. You have really inspired me and kept me pushing forward. Thank you so much. My question is, how can I fix an uneven ab? Well, there's no uneven ab, buddy. It's uneven abs. Because it's only uneven when it's compared to the next ab. But I asked my doctor about it, and he says it's just underdeveloped. And I got to work out my left side more than my right side. And the top of my abs are smaller or underdeveloped also. I don't know what to do, Greg. Should I just keep working on it and hopefully they're even out, or do I have to accept this as a fact that I only have 5 abs? Any advice helps. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Isaac. Great question, buddy. And a common problem for a lot of people. Before I even get into this video blog, guys, before I even get into this, you've got to remember that what makes you unique, makes you perfect. If everybody was cloned the same, it would be the boringest world, and we wouldn't want to live in this world if everybody was the same. What makes this life so unique and interesting and rich is the diversity of everybody. Everyone brings a different piece of the pie. Everyone sees the same image differently and reacts differently. That's something special. So before you start knocking what you call a handicap, it could be the greatest asset about yourself. A quick story about this would be, there's an actor back in the day called Marlon Brando. I'm sure you guys have all heard of him. He studied with a very famous acting coach called Stella Adler. And Marlon was a very hard-working guy and a good-looking guy, really attractive. Stella always said that was his demise. He was too good-looking. People couldn't cope with it, or didn't want to see that, oh, he's good-looking now, he's also a good actor too. It's just like too much of people to bear. It wasn't until, I think, a boxing or wrestling match or something where he broke his nose. The cartilage tissue in his nose, it got broke, and now his nose wasn't so perfect anymore. It had a little tint in it, a little sway in it. And Stella said to him, he was all depressed. And Stella said to him, get ready to work, because now you're relatable. Now people will accept you. And then he booked Streetcar Named Desire, and everything that went on from that, all because of crooked nose, because people now could welcome him and accept him. He wasn't so fucking perfect, So stop looking at these unproportionate abs as if there's an alien growing out your left ear. You're making it out worse than it is. But let's talk about it real fast, okay? Abdominal muscles. There's 4 types of abdominal muscles. Okay, so and everyone, the ones that everyone's worried about is the rectus abdominis. Those are your six-pack abs, really 8 muscles, and I'll tell you about that in a second. That's your most superficial muscle, meaning the external, outside portion of the body, where you can actually touch it. The ones that you cannot touch are your transverse abdominals. Transverse abdominals, it's like a big belt that goes around your entire core, around to your back and to your. It's like a big you know, people that want to lose weight, they get those pads, those back braces, and they just instead of losing the weight, they put it around their stomach and push it in real tight, so it brings their stomach in and holds it like Spanx and stuff, like clothing women wear, and then they put a shirt over top of it and they go, oh, okay, I'm good now. No, you're fucking a loser. But either way, that's the type. That's what the transverse abdominals are. It goes around and it aids your abdominals in just basic support function. Okay. Then you have your internal and external obliques. Your internal obliques helps your body rotate from right to left. Okay. Your external obliques helps you decide right to left. The external ones are superficial. You can actually touch them. The other ones you cannot. Then we get into what everyone calls the six-pack abs, the rectus abdominis, the one that everyone wants to do. Everyone wants those abs because it shows and it pops, and if you have them, then you're in shape, right? Those are comprised of 8 muscles, and they're parallel and proportioned. You have top 2, middle 2, lower 2, and then the bottom 2. The bottom 2 go all the way down to your pelvic region. There isn't really a cut-off shelf for them. A lot of people don't have them showing, you know. But it all comes down to body fat. We all have those muscles. And I'm outside on the porch right now, guys, and cars are going to drive by, but that's why it's called Video Blog Live. Who knows what's going to happen? So those are the muscles, right? Now, they're floating, kind of like lily pads in a pond. They're just floating there, right? How do we keep them in alignment? That comes down to your connective tissue, okay? Now, your connective tissue is a genetic thing. You're born with certain amounts of connective tissue. It's not something you can build upon. You know, you kind of have it and it grows with you. You can't put on more connective tissue. You're born into a finite number of how much connective tissue you have. Anyway, you have a horizontal, which is the tennial intersections. The tennial intersection is your horizontal, and then your vertical ones are your linea alba. Those are your connective tissue. So your vertical ones are going right down the middle, right, guys? Is your linea alba connective tissue, holding those individual 8 sections of the rectus abdominis. And then you have the horizontal ones right here, which are your tendinal intersections. So imagine like you have these floating elements, right? And they're all being held by something. And that what's holding them is moving them, right? So the rectus abdominis helps to pull us forward, right, in a crunch motion, right? It doesn't pull us back, though, does it? No, it doesn't. It's not like we can just release those muscles and then we'll go or spring back like a fucking springboard. No, it doesn't work that way. What pulls us back is our lower back muscles. That's what pulls us back. So the lower back muscles, your rectus abdominis, your internal and external obliques, and your transverse abdominals all make up your core. All make up your core. And when I say all make up your core, all have to be worked in order to have a strong core and a symmetric core. The only part of this section of the unevenness that's genetically based is your connective tissue aligning your rectus abdominis. You don't see your oblique shifted right to left, do you? No, we don't. Meaning, like, there isn't like an external oblique that's one lower and one's higher. No. Unless you're doing a lot of the one-way motion instead of the other way motion. But with the abs we do, because everyone focuses on the abs, the rectus abdominis that enhance them without enhancing the lower back to bring it back. So therefore that connective tissue can start getting pushed in the wrong way. And all of a sudden when that connective tissue, that's a locking mechanism. It just holds it there. And it can hold it off key if you continue to rotate one way more than the other. And it starts when you're at birth, guys. And that's what starts to generate a genetic fingerprint, you know, a blueprint of your means and ways in which you go about society, how you live your life. If you're right-handed or left-handed, what's that theory? If you're right-handed, right, most likely, like for me, I'm right-handed. My left side is stronger than my right. And people are like, well, that's not true. If you're right-handed, your right hand's stronger. No, not so much, guys. If you're right-handed, what comes with that? The strength plus the coordination. Your left side doesn't have as much coordination as your right side because it's never used as much. So therefore, to compensate on its lack of coordination from the right to the left side will get stronger to make up for its deficiency in coordination factor. Hence, a left side, if you're right-handed, sometimes looking at it is more visually developed and definitely stronger. If you use dumbbells and start doing presses and curls, you'll find one stronger than the other, initially. As you continue to work dumbbells instead of just barbells, you have them start to even out. The body will align evenness and atrophy from right to left, not north to south. People think like if you train your legs really hard, they're going to blow up, release all this natural testosterone, which is true. But because you have powerful legs doesn't mean you have power upper body, no. But if you break your left arm and it's in a cast, and it comes out, all that muscle, that atrophy has gone away and it's gotten weaker. Quickly, that left arm will come back to where it was to match the strength of the right arm. So we work right to left, not north to south so much. So our abdominals, what I'm saying is that over practice and time, what we're doing, our habits, if we are all, and you guys can do a test right now. You guys can just lean against a countertop, lift one hand up, and just kind of put the pressure and lean into that, and feel your abs. You feel the side that your hand is holding yourself with is more erect and more straight, and the other one's turned in. That over time, guys, is going to help to uneven your abs. It's going to set it in a trend. It's a depiction of what you're doing in your life, which is good. It means we can fix this. Imagine the scenario where you have a tree growing on the side of a cliff and the ocean's below it, 100 feet, right? And it blossoms and it drops its seeds and stuff. Those seeds will fall right below it and start to grow more little saplings and trees. Maybe it goes off the cliff, right? And one of the seeds drops down and it finds a little nook of dirt on the cliffside and plants and starts to grow there, right? Genetically, they're the same tree. They are, right? And what does trees do? They grow up to get the sunshine to start the photosynthesis process. Well, that tree that's down here on the side of the hill isn't getting any sun. So what does it do? It starts to grow to the sun. And you have this tree, that the father tree that bears the seed, right? It's a straight, nice, strong, visually appealing, proportioned tree, straight up and down. But then the other tree that fell off the side, it's growing off to the side and coming up and looks all twisted. But at the end of it all, its crown is bam, right there in the sunshine. Even though the trunk is all twisted. So genetically, when we're born, guys, we all have alignment in our course of action throughout our days. And what we do, if you guys are running the track all the time, and you always run that track clockwise, 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 you start to put more wear and tear on the left side and the right side of the support of running. That's going to start to change your abdominal structure. Your body is perishable, it's alive. It adapts to situations. You go to the gym and you continue to work out, you get stronger than a guy who doesn't go to the gym. You young guys out there jerking off all the time. If you always use your left hand, always use your right hand, your dick's going to start growing one way or the other. I bet you, That's just this nature. There's so many scenarios in it, and that's probably a bad example. Sorry, guys, a little crude, but hopefully it helps to just depict the lesson I'm trying to give here. So if we are always going one motion over and over again, our abs will start working that. It's the same theory, guys. If you grab a dumbbell and you only curl your right hand over and over and over and over again. Or if you're doing a bicep curl and you don't come all the way down, full extension, and they come all the way up, what happens? You have a bicep gap in your elbow. So what I'm saying is that a lot of the guys that have uneven abs, it's because of lack of core exercises in the gym. And majority of them aren't doing anything for the lower back. So they're doing all the rectus abdominis, doing the crunches, right? They're not doing any transverse stuff. They're not doing any lower abs, really, but they're really not doing any back. They're really bringing that thing back. The back's going to help pull the rectus abdominis back up and keep it in line. It's all connected tissue, pulling off each other. If one's stronger than the other, it's going to take hold of it. It's more dominant. And when it's more dominant, it can push the connective lines, the horizontal and vertical lines that are holding the 8 sections of the abdominals into different disarrays. That takes a long time to happen, guys. So it's not a quick fix. So if you have uneven abs and you start looking at them, take a picture of them, put a date on there, and start doing them more all around. Don't start overextenuating one portion or the other. Do them all together, all evenly done, okay? And over time, you start to rectify that and start pushing your abs back in position. They will not move on their own. They have to be forced to move with proper form to get back to where they should be. Because if you start using proper form and start going through the habitual nature of working out every single day in the correct manner, then what's going to happen is if you have that unevenness in your abs going to be like, wait a second, when we're doing this correctly, this left side's weaker. Let me get stronger, and stronger and stronger, and it starts lining up better, okay? And that's how it works. Now, if you're always on the computer, guys, you know, right-handed, always writing this way, all these things have a little bit of an effect on our abdominal, you know, core positioning. You know, we put ourselves in a position in order to stabilize ourselves, to provide a function with our hands or something. All that is related. Every lift, our abs are locked and being worked in. So the more improper form you guys are doing, or the more repetitiveness of an activity that stresses one side of the abs to the other side of the abs, is going to start to grow that unevenness. We can combat that with correct form, with doing entire core training, but at the end of the day, if we still have an unevenness of abs, pat yourself on the back, because in order to know you have an uneven abdominal rectus femoris, then you have to be a low body fat where you can actually see the motherfuckers, which puts you leaps and bounds ahead of society who doesn't even have anything but a gut out there. It's not a bad thing, guys. It's a cool thing. It makes you different, like that Marlon Brando story. Make yourself the best. Don't always go for perfection. When I came out to LA and I started doing some modeling thing after the military, I went into a modeling agency, and the guy's like, dude, you know, I was like 230. And he's like, you need, why don't you just lean down to like 170 pounds, you know, get into like a 38 suit, and, you know, do some runway and do this, and get a lot of work, and that's where the majority of people work. And I go fuck yourself. And I left him, and I went to a different agency, and I started this career I'm in now. And the reason why I said to go fuck himself wasn't because he's a bad person. His advice was bad, guys. His advice, he told me to give up my uniqueness, basically, and conform to the masses. Because in the masses, you get more work. Well, the masses also have more people going after it, so it's more competitive. But I don't want to be, you know, a forgotten soul that just drifts around the world. I want to be unique. Love me or hate me, but goddamn, this person's the same day, the same person, and this situation as in that situation as he doesn't conform to motherfuckers. He is his own unique person. You know, so that's what I did when I was doing the modeling thing. I started out, and it's successful, because when you accept your faults or your imperfections as uniqueness, you know, and you take ownership of them, then they no longer are like a handicap in your head. They're part of your soul. They make you unique. You're proud of them. So they build your confidence, as opposed to being the demise and the destruction of your confidence, because you're like, oh, this agent said, dude, you're not going to work because you're too big, or this or too that. No, I'm just not going to work for you, motherfucker. But I will work. So I hope that helps, guys. So the recap on this, Isaac, is that unevenness of your abs is not genetically based. The genetic base is your connective tissue. The connective tissue, that the horizontal and vertical and horizontal lines that hold the 8 rectus abdominis. The more activity, the more pushing you do, like that tree trying to find the sun, is going to start moving and change its natural form, what its genetic code would be, whatever, to live, to find that sunshine. Even though the dad tree was straight, this guy's going to be crooked. It doesn't matter. It's just you're forming to the society of what you're putting your body through. So look at what you guys are doing. Also make sure your abdominal core, your workouts and everything else are unison with the back, side twist, and the internal and external obliques, plus the 8-pack, the 6-pack, the rectus abdominis. Don't just focus on that, guys, do crunches. You guys are doing yourself an injustice, and you will push your shit out of alignment. So the only thing that's genetic, guys, is the connective tissue and the amount you have around the rectus abdominis. The actual muscles themselves, and if one side, right side, is stronger than the left side and one's bigger, that's all on you guys. That's just you training one side harder than the other. The people that, the alignment is an issue that you can fix. But if one's bigger and more developed than the other side, that's just your lack of ability to train evenly. That's all it is. The connective tissue is the only thing that's genetic. The other things that are kind of genetic are your fast twitch and slow twitch muscle. The proportionality of how much you guys have. 70% of the people have, you know, that same pretty much amount from fast to slow twitch muscles. Your point of tendon insertion is another genetic thing. Like when you heal, the Achilles tendon that comes up and meets into your calf. Some people have it longer than others. The tendon on which your bicep muscle attaches to your forearm, is it attached closer to the elbow or further down the forearm? Further down the forearm is going to provide more mechanical power and strength. That's a genetic thing, guys. The length of your limbs is going to provide. The shorter your limbs are, the less range of motion and it needs to move, the stronger and more power you have. Those are just genetic things that we're born with. That's what makes you unique. Don't turn your back on them. Accept them. And make them, like I said in that other video blog, make the materials, the raw materials to build your house in the driveway, something special. They aren't special sitting there. They become special when you put work and effort into them to make them polished and turn it into something special. Alright guys, and do not let excuses saying, oh, it's genetically. No, it's not genetics, guys. It's your will to change. When you guys have uneven abs, it will take longer to reposition them than it will to build the abs and lose the fat and everything else. But you can do it. Start taking notes now and then go about your day in a correct manner. In time, they all lock back up, guys. Don't believe the hype that's genetic. Don't allow that excuse to set in and take root in your body. You are driving your own ship here, guys. Not the genetic wonders of somebody else's laziness that's saying, oh, it's genetic, you can't do anything about it, so don't worry about it. No, you can do something about it. And what you've been doing for the last 15, 20 years and your natural posture and habit and everything else has caused that unevenness. And if you're uneven abs, there's probably some unevenness in your back and your spinal column and everything else. It's all posture, dealing with your core. You're not working your entire core. You're just working on the vanity muscles, the rectus abdominis, guys. So that's my advice. Hope it helps, Isaac. Great question. Great Plitt, help me stay fit. Now.